ringside Teddy Atlas, and welcome to the famed New York Arena here in Midtown Manhattan for our main event. 10 rounds of heavyweights. Boy, and we expect this to be a big night of action. We spoke with both fighters yesterday. Fireworks anticipated here tonight. Let's see. Bishop's so alert right now. I mean, look at his focus as he makes that.
Alright, what's going on, boxing fans and gamers? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fight Night's Finest coming back at you with another Fight Night Champion online ranked match. Talk a little bit about the gameplay, but beforehand, I just want to say this to everybody who's watching the video, who watches me. I appreciate all the likes on the video, but I also don't know what you guys think, because half the time you guys will like the video, but you don't comment. So do me a favor. This video, please leave a comment on what it is that you think regarding to the topic, or anything you might be thinking while watching the video. I would love to know. Anyway, getting into the video itself, this is Joe Louis going up against Andre Bishop. But if you guys were paying attention to the thumbnail, I did want to talk about the elephant in the room, the one that's been occurring for, I don't know, the past decade or so, of is EA going to make a new Fight Night? And this topic comes up within the Fight Night and boxing game community, combat sports gaming community, at least once a year, or there's a little point where it gets hot, you know, and you'll see a random content creator, and I say random because they're not a key player inside of the combat sports gaming community, make a video like this where they're trying to get an understanding or trying to get a grasp. They're posing the question, are we going to get a new Fight Night? You know, any Fight Night champion player who's been playing since release will be back in what, March of 2011, right? We're now in February of the time of this recording of 2024. But yet, I would say a game's life cycle really, especially in combat or sports games, right, usually lasts every year. But as a boxing game, you don't really need to update the game yearly, because it's not like sports teams where they have constant roster changes and different things like that. So I would say for a combat sports game, 2 to 3 years is like a good life cycle. Even 4 if you want to push it, if the game is in a good state. However, it always amazes me that after a decade long, like I said, 2 to 3 years, right? After a decade long of waiting, people still fall for the same trope every single fucking time. It's actually amazing to me, because it's so funny that this question keeps getting posed year after year after year after year, and it always comes with the same pattern. And maybe it's because I'm an OG and I've been around this community forever at this point, a decade plus, right? But the question just keeps getting posed anytime there's some type of mention of it by somebody with a little bit of status or a little bit of clout. And it's crazy to see people farm views off of the same exact topic year after year after year after year, of people posing the question even though we already have the answer. That's speculation. And seeing people feed off of that curiosity, it's almost sickening to me. Watching this year after year after year after year after year, when these same people have not been putting in the work to either help build the community, raise the IQ of the community, bring them together, or active players in the community. But yet, in this day and age, it's okay for people to talk about stuff that they don't really fucking know about. And excuse the cursing, because you guys know most of my videos, I usually don't curse. But this time, I'm fucking passionate about this. Because I keep seeing it, and I'm a little sick of it. Is it okay for the casual to pose the question? Absolutely. Everybody's allowed to pose a question. I'm not saying nobody's allowed to be curious, because it is well overdue, and boxing games in general, I think we do need a boxing game that people are going to enjoy. I totally agree with that. And as a gamer, which the majority of combat sports gamers are, they're gamers before they are boxing fans. There's a little bit of a tangent here, but follow me as I take you guys on this side road. Combat sports gamers, if you ever sat down and played, for an example, Undisputed, the instinct of the majority of the players is to figure out what to do to win. It's very rare for you to get into a fight where somebody is trying to box. Very rare thing. Because when you get in these fights where somebody's actually trying to box in a game, that even though it is a boxing game, I'm doing the quote fingers, it does not promote or reward you for boxing. Does that mean you can't get on the game and box? Of course you can. Like I'm doing it in this video. I do it on all my content. However, the thing that's going to get you the result is not boxing. In fact, the majority of the player base, I will say, from playing over a decade of combat sports games, I will say the majority of the player base does not care about boxing. They care about winning, which is why I say they're gamers before they are boxing fans. Because as soon as a person is losing, this is not for everybody. There are the pockets of people who actually do try to emulate the sport. That's why we have 10,000 plus people in our community, right? The majority of players do, the vast majority of players want to win though before they want to emulate the sport. So boxing gamers or combat sports gamers, they want to game and win and get results before they want to box. And one of the things that I think is really prevalent throughout this community, or that it gets not talked about enough, is that fact. People want to win before they emulate the sport. Friday, where did you get that from? Think about when somebody starts losing, especially if you're playing in a ranked match. Or everybody seems to have like a common trope. In this game, right? It'll be the side step uppercut. It'll be the back step straight. It'll be the power straight. It'll be the 1-2 spam. And then if you play in OWC, let's say you had 10 fights. I will say, especially once you get out of the low overalls of OWC, this is not to talk about the guys who will camp at 78 overall, 79 overall, or 80, 81 overall, and just keep fighting new players that they know are trying to actually emulate the sport, and then get introduced to the world of being a gamer, a competitive gamer. And they find the guys who's gonna damn near max out that straight, just so they can spam lower players to get results. And then 7 out of 10, I would say, players in OWC are probably gonna spam, especially if the situation gets tough or the going gets tough. You'll see a motherfucker switch from being sim to a spammer real fucking quick. Like it damn near happens within a round. I've had fights where me trying to get videos for you guys, especially back in the day. All right, first round's okay. First 2 rounds maybe okay. First 3 rounds even. And then that scorecard pops up. And all of a sudden, somebody double stepping. all of a sudden the power straight coming out a little bit more frequently. Let's take it to Undisputed, because, you know, some people are going to say, well, Fight Night, that's just Fight Night Champion. No, let's take it to Undisputed. Start losing that first round after getting pieced up, and all of a sudden, a body uppercuts start coming out a little bit more frequently. The hooks start coming out really frequently. The same size spam starts coming out really frequently. You find out you down on them cards, that back step straight starts popping out a little bit more frequently. And then you have the guys who are just super tryhards. They're gonna just lead with that. Even if you do an element, which is the new concept, which is an old concept, but it's a new concept because it's really an old concept. It's just been reintroduced because we have a new game. And these are going to be the players where as soon as you even do one body uppercut, it gives them the excuse to do what they wanted to do all along, which was take the easy road to win the easiest way possible, which is by spamming. So when we take this road down the side street, let's go ahead and cross the street and go around the corner. And then we're going to talk about the guys who think or like to play as if they are Sim. And I'm doing the quote fingers here. And I've come to learn, especially over my time of playing, coaching players and both games, that a person may watch a boxing fight or two, or they may see an example from somebody who is good at the game, and then they think that is the way to play the game. And they think because they add a little bit of elements of being Sim, that they're actually a Sim player. Those are the real phonies to me. Those are the biggest players that don't get talked about enough. The ones who are cheesers, but put up the facade as their Sim. Let me take a sip of my drink. Now these are the guys that they stats may look pretty good at the end of a fight, but if you take a look at that footage, you got the jab and the straight being the main punch, and that sidestep uppercut being the next thing. But because, you know, I threw a few hooks in here and there, I'm not really cheesing. You can always tell when a player, especially on this game, when they come from OWC, because they have that, there's something about that play style that just seems a little familiar. You know, the thing that we never talk about when it comes to spammers is like they all got the same head coach. They all went to the same academy. They all been to the same school. They all graduated in the same year. You know how Double XL and Rap has like the freshman class? It's all like the all freshman class of like 6 months into the game, 2011, after Perfect Block got taken out, where everybody's just playing the same kind of style. That meta style. Yeah, I know the one I'm talking about. But because I get results, I could say I'm just taking what's available to me. You know, I'm just boxing. I'm just doing XYZ, right? And maybe I might have a little bit of clout from the community, right? So what I can do is I could spam, and I'll get somebody else who plays a similar style, because, you know, we all graduated in the same year. We're all part of the same class, right? And then he could say what I'm doing is not spamming objectively. And then, you know, what I will do is I'll relate it back to boxing and be like, you know, well, Floyd Mayweather does the same thing. Or, you know, what's the popular one? The Cuban style, right? They mostly rely on straight punches and good movement. So I'm just fighting a Cuban style. Is that right? Is it really a Cuban style? Or is it just an excuse for you to cheese and be a gamer? So it's all funny how, especially when things are competitively involved, how everybody just defaults to the same style, right? the same cheesy ass style, and then everybody uses the same excuses to go on doing everything besides what you were supposed to do, which was box. And that's not to say that you can't be a competitive gamer, because I am. You need to understand the cheese to be a successful gamer, right? A successful player in this game. You need to understand, and you need to know when to implement it. But your first thing should always be the box first. That should always be the case first, but it always isn't. So let's go back to the main road and talk about the topic, which is Oscar De La Hoya tweeting out the thought of potentially being in a new boxing game, right? Or wanting to bring back the old Fight Night series. Does that mean it's coming back? Absolutely fucking not. And anybody who's telling you anything else, you know what they're farming. We need to make sure we get these clicks. From the Project Moneyball excuse to back when people were going around sharing that fucking screenshot from the EA help page where they talked about what was it, Fight Night Champion 2 or Fight Night Round 5, and everybody was circulating that in the community. That was back in like 2015. That doesn't tell you how old I am. I don't know what does. I've been around too long for people to be promoting this question, this speculation, and getting thousands of views off of it when they joined the community late, which there's nothing wrong with it. If you are a part of the community now, of course we accept you in. But watching people farm these fucking views by posing that question with the fake Fight Night covers, you know, it gets a little sickening after seeing people run the same card or the same trick year after year after year to get that inflection of views. It really does get sick. You would think the community will have learned at this point that the only thing that is official news is when it comes from the fucking source. If it's not from the source and you're scrolling down YouTube and see that thumbnail with the title come out, that's why we purposely did it in this video. Then guess what? It's somebody just farming views. And as Dave the Rip one used to say, if you felt like, actually, before we talk about Dave the Rip one, right? He used to say, if the shoe fits, lace that motherfucker up, right? He put his own little swag on it. But I'm gonna bring it back to something I heard Russ say. If you did get offended by my comment, I was talking about you. I want that to breathe for a second. I was talking about you. I feel like, especially being in this community for so long, sometimes we need a little bit of an anti-hero to come out and say what needs to be said. Because I watched and been a part of wanting a new boxing game to come out for so long that when I see somebody acting as if it's just something to talk about, as if they earnestly care about it, when I know for a fact they don't, because they don't put in the work, or they've never put in the same level of work, it offends me. It definitely offends me. But all that to say this: if it's not from EA's mouth, if it's not from an official announcement, if it ain't a trailer being dropped, that news is bullshit. I won't even bother giving that person a view because they don't deserve it. But I digress, right? Celebrity gossip or celebrity tweeting about something does not mean it's news. And if you're a content creator and you're doing this, act with some fucking integrity, please. Now let's get into this fight. This fight was excellent because me playing as Joe Louis, this was like my first match back in a couple of months, as it always is usually. I really don't make Fight Night content unless if I want to make a video about something. But I did thoroughly enjoy this match, and as the fight went along, I could see how some of my undisputed habits have creeped into this match. But me seeing I was down 3 rounds to zip when the fight first started, and then realizing that I lost like what was it, 3 rounds after round 5, I believe, after I got the knockdown. Oh, it lit the fire under my ass, and it was nice to be able to just execute a game plan and see it, you know, come to fruition. Because as I started to trade with Bishop more in this matchup, I was doing it with the idea in mind that Bishop's stamina control can be, he can burn stamina a lot faster than Joe Louis can. And because it took me a little bit longer to get started, because you guys know I always take the first 3 rounds, 4 rounds to observe my opponent before I make my adjustments, I knew at some point, if I was able to knock him down once and I kept the pace up at a high pace, but not like such a high pace that where I'm just completely out working him and then I burn all my stamina so I can't get the finish. But I knew it was just a matter of time at this point, where if I'm draining my gas tank and he's trying to fight me off, eventually I will wear him down long enough to where I can start to mount a comeback. And that's exactly what you guys are going to see in this round here, as I get my second knockdown of the fight with the straight right hand followed by the left hook. And for the most part, I was utilizing the left hook followed by the power straight early on in the fight, and then getting him to move to the direction that I wanted him. I could then reverse the combo and start using the straight followed by the left hook, because I was getting him to move in the direction that I wanted him to. And speaking of moving in the direction that I want him to, he's in the center of the ring. He's still trading with me, and you know, if he's still trading with me, it's only going to be a matter of time before he takes it to canvas again. Counter left hook comes through and drops him for the 3rd time of this fight. There's nothing better than mounting that sweaty comeback. But it's not a complete comeback yet, because my opponent is able to get up at the count of 6. But him being a trooper, him being a true warrior, he walked back to the center of the ring. Remember, this guy had like 200 and something wins and only like 60 something losses. However, sometimes you just can't beat experience, and there is experience right there with the 5-piece combination, followed by the chin check with the left uppercut that connects and drops Andre Bishop down for the 4th and what I believe to be the final time this fight. So once again, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section of not only the topic of the video, but also, do you think, let me not be the content creator. You guys know we don't do that over here. Ghetto Productions. Anyway, I do need this favor though. Please like the video, and I do want to hear from you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. It's been your boy, Fight Night's Finest, with the sweaty comeback, and I'll catch you guys next time.